The Australian Financial Review.
You know, when you wake up in the morning and the kids are late, so you rush to get them in the car. When you drive and someone scratches the side of your car. Then you get to work and you're late and you missed a meeting. Then something goes wrong with the delivery in your office. Then you get home and you're late and you miss dinner with your family. Your kids spill something all over the floor. And then your mother comes to visit you and she sits down next to you and she drops a teaspoon on the floor. And you are so pent up with anger from the day that you scream, "Why did you drop that teaspoon?"
Hi, I'm Sally Patton, editor of Boss from the Australian Financial Review, and welcome to 15 Minutes with the Boss, a podcast about success and failure and everything in between, and along the way we're hoping to get some really great advice from our leaders. My guest today is Gary Smith, the Chief Executive of BioPak. Hi Gary, how are you? Thank you so much for coming in.
Thank you for having me.
Have you had a busy morning so far?
Yeah, most mornings are busy, but this morning was quite relaxed, trying to prepare myself for sitting and answering your questions.
Glad to hear it. Now, Gary, you're the Chief Executive of BioPak, which is a compostable packaging company that makes biodegradable cups, containers, cutlery, among lots of other things. You have 260 employees, and last year you clocked more than $300 million of sales. Your major customers include 7-Eleven, All Press Coffee, KFC, McDonald's and Guzman y Gomez. And you started the company in 2006. We don't have much time, so I will start the clock right now. My first question is, what does your morning routine look like? What happens? What time do you get up?
My morning routine is pretty simple. I get up and get to the office as fast as I possibly can. I try to walk to the office 2-3 times a week, but otherwise I drive there.
So what time do you get up?
I get up somewhere between sort of 6 and 6:30 in the morning.
And what time do you get to the office?
If I drive, it's a short 15-minute drive. If I walk, it's about an hour walk.
So that means you're getting there at 7:30?
Anywhere between 7 and 8, depending on the walk or the drive.
So when you get to the office, what do you do first? Do you have a cup of coffee at all?
I will pick up a cup of coffee on the way, if it's a walk or a drive from my local. When I get to the office, I go straight to my desk.
And breakfast, does that come into it at any point?
No, I don't have breakfast. So my first meal is lunch at about 12 o'clock. I don't know if it's a enforced intermittent fast or a scheduled. I'm just very used to eating extremely well. It just happens that I have 2 really good protein and vegetable meals for lunch and dinner, and very little in between besides fruit and a coffee.
So you don't get hangry at around 10 or 11 o'clock?
I'm permanently angry if you ask the people that work for me, but hangry, I'm never hangry. I'm always well-nourished and well-fed.
And do you think that having those 2 meals with lots and lots of protein and vegetables is key to your performance?
Well, all I can tell you is that I still feel at my age I've got boundless energy. I seldom feel tired, and that's if I have to work till 1 o'clock in the morning. That's if I have to wake up early and put in a 15-hour day.
And how old are you, can I ask?
55.
It's pretty good. So do you feel like you can keep on going at this pace forever?
Yeah, at least another 70 years, yes.
Another 70. Okay, not bad going. I'll take that. Gary, my next question is about a pivotal moment in your career. Was there some project that you undertook or something that happened that really changed the trajectory of what you were doing?
Absolutely. And there might have been a few, but the one that really sticks out is, as I left school, I started a business because I wanted to make some money to go to university. I grew up in a country where there wasn't HECS and I couldn't just go and pay it back later. But it led me into in the technology field, and I started trading hardware and technology, computers and memory chips and hard drives. And we built a really nice little business, but being young and really ignorant really carefree, I tried everything. And about 1993, I was fortuitously approached by an individual that got a contract to do the computers for the first South African, where I grew up, free and fair elections in the 1994 Independent Electoral Commission elections. And over a 4-month period, we built 4,500 computers, massive opportunity. It introduced me to the really large end of town in that industry. It catapulted us. It gave us a lot of profitability to build the business. And it really sort of matured me, and I grew up very quickly commercially with that opportunity.
So you provided all the computers for the election?
Correct.
And what were the main lessons that you learned? How did that change the nature of what you were doing?
When you're thrown in the deep end of any opportunity without potentially experience in what you've been given, or even in education, it just taught me a lesson of I have to build everything with my own hands. So even today, when I'm approached by someone in our marketing team or someone in our procurement team, and they've got a very formal education and lots of experience, I still, in my mind, because of that experience, I try build what they're giving me from scratch just to make sure all of it makes sense. And it's not a long process, but it taught me that when we were forced to having to go sit with Microsoft and get licenses for them for 4,000 computers. I had to go in there, a 22, 23-year-old kid, go to their offices, tell them that we've got this opportunity, have patience while they didn't believe me. But it really taught me that nothing's impossible, number one. But to make it probable, you have to build everything from scratch with your own hands. And that's still been sort of my motto today, or my practice today.
So you need some sort of working knowledge or basic knowledge of what everyone or what every division in the company does.
Oh, absolutely. And that's the benefit of starting the business, is that I've done everything. Today, we're a much bigger business, and I haven't done it nearly as well as all the individuals in our business, but I have experience in every aspect of the business. And I feel as a leader, I have to give people freedom to do what they do. But at the same time, you have to lead. So you have to get into those departments, even if it's not virtual or with the individuals, and really rebuild every step of it constantly to process, improve, and to help them run, their businesses within your business.
And how did that contract that you had with the South African government propel you to go on and do something else? For example, do what you do now?
Inspiration or luck, everyone has the most inspiring ideas on a daily basis. Everyone has luck pass by them every day. They might see it, they might not. That's step one. It's the work that follows that translates that to any form of success. So yes, I think that's just taught me that you can't look past anything. You just have to evaluate everything and try and implement as best you can.
So first of all, you've got to recognise the luck, capitalise on it, and then work at it to try and have it take you to the next level.
100%. And it just means evaluate everything. So a lot of people, I hear pessimism when I heard this idea, it's such a bad idea, or this guy wants to do this, such a bad, but you have to be curious. And that's what it taught me, is that just listen and be curious.
Okay. So Gary, question number 3, what is the best piece of career advice you've ever been given?
I started, as I said, the business in 88, 89, straight out of school. And I went in with some partners in the business that I was at uni with, I was at school with, and I met along the way. And I had a bad experience with them, whereby they sort of did a dirty on me in the business, and all of a sudden I was outside the business. At the time, my uncle, who was a solicitor, I went to him and I asked him, I said, Dave, we got to sue these people. And he said to me that I could spend 10 months in court, worrying every day, thinking I'm going to sue them and go litigate against them, or I can start right now building the rest of my life. And that's the best advice I've ever got, is regret and revenge is pointless. It just consumes energy. And you need all your energy for today going forward. So his advice to me was, let them have the business. Can you start a business today? Can you get your customers that you had? Can you get the same product? And the answer to all of that was yes. It'll take me a little bit of time to build it back up. And honestly, within 6 or 7 months, I was reestablished with the same customers and the same products. And so maybe a little bit of confidence helped over there as well. But yeah, I could have spent years, and I see it a lot in people today when they just constantly fixated on things that have gone wrong, or things that have been done to them. So my uncle's advice at the time, and what I've lived by all the time, is, forget about yesterday. We can only do and plan and change tomorrow.
Yes, that's really good advice. So don't dwell on anger. Anger is a pointless emotion.
Absolutely. It's an energy-consuming emotion.
So do you have advice on when anger does consume you, how to let that go? What
I try to do when I'm very angry is slow down and really, again, build with my own hands. So let's say, for example, we drop our delivery levels to customers, which I'm passionate about. I will get angry. I will call everybody, bring them into my office, sit them down, and they can see I'm frustrated, I'm angry. And then I think what they see is, I slow down. Stop, break down where the issue arose, where the whatever broke to make you angry. Rebuild it so that the next time you do it right.
Learn from the mistake.
100%.
On that note, Gary, we are going to take a short break. Don't go away though. When we come back, we're going to open the chatterbox. Welcome back to 15 Minutes with the Boss. I'm here with Gary Smith, the CEO of BioPak. Now, Gary, this is our section called the Chatterbox. In front of you, you will see this very beautiful brown box, inside which are around 20 questions. I'm going to ask you to pick some out one by one, and I will then, of course, ask you to answer it. So start foraging. No cheating here.
No one can see me closing my eyes. It's a podcast.
How do you make tough decisions or manage conflict?
A lot of people try and manage conflict by an email or a text or discussing the conflict when angry or when they've got a lot on their mind. So sometimes, let's say it's a personal home or a work situation. When you're really angry and you walk in and you want to deal with the issue, and I used to have something called the I dropped a teaspoon syndrome. You know, when you wake up in the morning and the kids are late, so you rush to get out the car, get them in the car. When you drive and someone scratches the side of your car, then you get to work and you're late and you missed a meeting. Then something goes wrong with the delivery in your office. Then you get home and you're late and you miss dinner with your family and your kids spill something all over the floor. And then your mother comes to visit you at 8 o'clock and she sits down next to you and she drops a teaspoon on the floor. And you are so pent up with anger from the day that why did you drop that teaspoon? The teaspoon didn't deserve your anger.
Yeah.
So the way I deal with it is you have to resolve conflict or resolve anger when you actually are rested and have an absolute blank mind. So even if you postpone it, if it's even a person, like if my wife says, I really want to discuss this bugging me, if my mind is not there to resolve the issue, if I'm not in the right mindset or I'm carrying a lot of baggage for that hour or that evening, I'll put them off until I've got just a calm, free mind to discuss it and try and resolve it.
But you've got to do that often on a, say, hourly basis, because otherwise the teaspoon will tip over and you'll be angry at the end of the night. So how do you do that sort of on a minute by minute, hour by hour basis?
For me, it's more to avoid the conflict, to maybe ignore the irritation until you've got time, because it's not possible to reset your mind every hour. It's not like life's too fast. It's a rat race, and you've got so much going on. 4 kids. I had a business with hundreds of people. It's just too much going on too quickly to pause every time you get angry. You can work through those issues. You can get irritated, but if you want to resolve the issue, if you want to get to the bottom of it and make sure there's no bad vibes between you and a family member or someone at the office, you actually have to wait till you completely reset and then sit with those people and say, this is where I went wrong, or this is how I think we should resolve it, or this is how, we can fix it.
So in that case, do you find Mondays are a good day to do that because that's after the weekend when you have recharged?
Yeah. I call it, when I walk with my wife, I call it our board meetings. It's just a casual stroll, but it's when I've got no issues on my head from the office or from anything else and I've got time to talk. And it is frustrating, I guess, living with a person like that, because people on a Wednesday night have an issue and want to discuss it. And I'm literally, not tonight, don't speak to me. Oh, let's discuss it when, I guess, selfishly it's convenient for me, or really when I've got the mindset or the energy to try and resolve or discuss the issue. So, yeah, Monday's great. But Monday mornings come to an end at about 4 minutes off. You get in at 8 and it's a Monday morning and you're fresh and you're alive and, 9 o'clock you're back to a normal work week.
Right, okay. So board meetings on the weekend.
Yeah.
Okay. Have a go at another question. What's the piece of advice that you would give your younger self?
I don't know that I respected or appreciated family as much as I did when I was young. I was very career focused. I was 7 days a week, not 5 days a week. And at the time, I had a young daughter in 1996 and a young son in 1998. And I thought I was present, but 7 days a week at the office and, coming home and missing a dinner, and which I've never been spectacular at anyway. I then had the privilege of moving to Australia in 2000, where I didn't have that business anymore. I didn't know anybody. So I had all day, every day. And I discovered taking to kindy and fetching from kindy. It's so much so that at 9:30 in the morning, the teachers used to say to me, hey, Gad, you've got to leave. You have to get out of the... So if I'd given myself younger advice or my children advice is put 100% into your family and never take them for granted, because everything else you can do after that as a priority.
So don't go hell for leather and don't just focus on work when you've got children, because time is precious.
I think the proudest thing that I'm proud of for me is that I haven't missed a birthday. And I feel like now as they're adults, I'd love to do more. Maybe they want to start their own businesses. Maybe I'd love to give them 20 hours to do that, but I'm pretty busy. And I always feel guilty that I should put more time in, but I do put in a lot of time. But I think my younger self didn't. So my advice to my younger self is, just understand that from, 20 years old, not when I did maybe at 50 years old, that's the priority.
Yeah, put the time in.
Yeah.
Okay, Gary, next question. Have a forage. What do you do when you switch off, assuming that you do switch off?
I think that People that know me, that listen, don't think I do, but I absolutely do.
Mm-hmm.
And I rest. We have a big Friday night dinner where the whole family comes over, brothers, sisters, uncles, aunts, kids.
Every week without fail?
Every week without fail, maybe at us or at some of our family, but that's standard. But Saturday morning, I'll wake up, I'll go down to the beach, I'll go for a long walk, I'll have a swim, I'll have breakfast, I'll come back, and I'll sleep. I literally have to recharge, and I'll rest. And then that's my recharge for the week, because I really do put in a lot of effort and time during the week. But on a Sunday night, it's just my children. My switch off is just spending time with family. So I try to cook together with them, and I'm a new cook, so I'm not a great cook. Or we'll just sit and talk, just us. And for me, that's my switch off. I know that for 48 hours, I'll be relaxed, I'll be exercised, I'll eat really well, I'll go to nice restaurants, I'll have a bit to drink, and I'll have a family surrounded by me. And that's my switch off. That's my hobby.
Gary, on that note, you have passed the Chatterbox section with flying colours, I might add. Now we have one more question, which is, if we gave you 12 months off, unencumbered, you could do anything you liked, what would you do?
Assuming you force me to leave my dogs for 12 months,
Yes.
I would take 12 months and I would travel, and I would go to all the music festivals, Coachella, Glastonbury. Every weekend I'd be at a British soccer game watching Liverpool. I'd go to Grand Prix. So it would be 12 months of no laptop, no mobile phone, and just music festival after sports event, after just walking cities that I've never been to.
Would you go to the reformed Oasis?
I would go to the Reformed Oasis, absolutely. I go to the strangest concerts. Everything that comes here, I go to. I went to Boney M a couple of months ago. I don't know if anyone remembers who they are.
I do.
And there's one original memory in there. But I just get motivated by music. You dream when you listen to music. You can conquer the world when you're listening to songs. I think that 1,000 years ago, people looked at poets for inspiration. You know, musicians and songwriters are the poets of today. So, yeah, I would travel, watching sport and going to concerts.
And that is our time up. Gary, it's been so great talking to you about how not to dwell on anger and regret and revenge, because it is all-consuming and it keeps you in the past, and they're pointless emotions. I love the way you're focused on your family. I love the way you think about resetting and emptying your brain in order to tackle difficult issues. And I hope you have a great trip, travelling the world, seeing lots of bands, and please report back on the reformed Oasis. So on that note, once again, thank you so much, Gary, for allowing us to spend 15 minutes with the boss. And thank you to everyone for listening. If you like the podcast and would like to hear more, please consider sharing the podcast or writing a review, as it helps us to reach more people. And follow us wherever you get your podcasts. At the Financial Review, we investigate the big stories about markets, business and power. For more, go to afr.com, and you can subscribe to the Financial Review, The Daily Habit of Successful People, at afr.com/subscribe. This podcast was hosted by me, Sally Patton, and produced and edited by Lap Fan. Video and audio assistance, and our music theme is by Alex Gow, and our executive producer is Fiona Buffini.
The Australian Financial Review.